Welcome back to the All Things Women Summit.
And
We talked a little bit about people kind of talking about pushing through or moving on and all of that. What are some forms of women experience that often go unrecognized or even minimized?
there's a loss of identity when it comes to grief because whatever it is you lost, that was what you attached who you are. And a lot of times your value and your purpose to your everyday life, that was, what it was. And so when you lose that, you're kind of, what am I now? I'm not a mother of a family. Now it's just me and my kids. I'm, not a wife anymore. I'm kind of a baby mama. Like I'm not all the things, where didn't realize how high of a pedestal you'll put that on, you lose with your identity. And then there's dreams and expectations, all the plans that you had, because in my case, I did everything right, where, I married the man, I had the kids, we went to the school, we had the good jobs, and so all the plans we had were based on that double income and that double effort. And now it was single income and single effort. And so I had to let go of those things. And I was mourning the loss of those things along with, the time that I put into being that person towards that marriage. I'm grieving the loss of that time. And so being a woman and, having, not control issues, but the way we like to control our time, our identities and our relationships and the efforts that we put into things, mourning the loss of those things is huge.
Yes. How did you move through and what steps can a woman take in really finding her identity again? There was part of your identity lost. How do women navigate that?
Yes, the way that I coach it is in steps, actually. And the first thing is to be able to label and pinpoint and feel at home in your core values. Whatever those are, they're there for a reason. And a lot of times when we don't get to keep the identity and all the things that we lost, we end up hating who we are now without those things. And we assign our frustration and our anger with the circumstance. And we identify now with the circumstance. Oh, no, I'm widowed. So that must mean I'm all the things that come with that. I'm lonely. I'm depressed. I'm sad. And we begin to connect our identities to that. What we need to be connecting to is who we've always been, who we are in this space now, and how to best emote, best apply ourselves, and best connect with other people in who we already are. And identifying who that is and what turns your light on in those core values is the first step.
How do you help women see grief not as something to overcome, but as something that can really transform them?
Again, it's really about self-discovery. Grief is just another lane, another path. There are a couple of different paths we're probably going to all hit in our lives that force us to figure out who we are and what that really means to us and how that is going to impact our lives and the people around us and our happiness levels. And if we are going to do the work of taking responsibility of deciding how our lives are going to be and grasping and creating our own happiness, we have to know what that is. And grief is just another invitation for that, to find out, okay, don't attach yourself to the feeling. Feelings are just information. That's all they are. I mean, of course, they mean and they matter and all the things, but in the long run, feelings are information. They're data. They tell you, you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to think about this. Maybe we'll look at this way. It's just information. And once you process that information and decide, well, what does that mean for me? What do I need to do? Am I feeling sad? Do I need to take some time out? Am I feeling restless? Am I feeling useless? Do I need to be productive? Like, that's all they're for. And so once grief teaches that, then you can begin to look at life like, okay, I can process this information and use it going forward. I am going to continue to go forward no matter what, whether it's grief I'm experiencing, happiness I'm experiencing. This is all information. And grief and trauma are at the end of things when you can figure them out or have a coach to help you figure them out.
Yes.
It's just another path to growth.
That is such a beautiful example of like just moving beyond that. Are there any patterns that you see that show up specifically in the
Mhm.
group, in the women that you work with?
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. And it's actually the point of where I recommend having coaching. It's right after therapy. because ground zero grief is best nurtured with therapy. And I always advocate for therapy because I'm not a therapist. I think that therapy is great because it digs into why you are the way you are and gives you the language and the tools to work with. Now, once you're there, the pattern that I see with widows is they're like, okay, I know why I am the way I am. And my therapist is going to continue to tell me more and more about why, but it's not. And now it's my job to figure out what am I going to do with that information? And that's where I come in because they're stuck. They come to me and they always use that word, I'm stuck. I'm in my new normal. I'm not at ground zero anymore. I'm not making carpet angels, ears full of tears. Like I'm functioning, but
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm here and living. I'm not present and I don't know what's missing. And that's where I come in, that space of stuck, because that is your body and your mind calling for you to come up a little higher, to do something a little more involving and connect with what your purpose is. And that's, I think, what is the pattern. They're like, well, my purpose was being with my husband. Now what am I? And I'm like, come on, let's discover it. Come with me. We're going to discover what you are now. And it's amazing.
I love that.